Well, Sean, I think we are at the moment of launch, which is pretty exciting with this select group of people to do the unveil here and dive into it. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it. I think people are excited with anticipation, hopefully, right?
And hopefully more excited by the end than the beginning even. So we'll see how that goes. Listen, anything you want to start with? My name is Patrick Shaw, and Sean and I have a partnership, and we're really excited about it. We look for some of the best coaches in the world in very specific verticals that have a need to prospect and to follow up. They're in a business where they have to talk to people to really succeed at the next level. And so that's how Sean and I met. And ironically, the first coach we have ever worked with, Sean, you're right here in Colorado, which is crazy. I remember that first call with you, and I'm like, you're where?
That's right.
Really? Like right here in Colorado? And so that was exciting. But anything you want to open it with here? We're just so excited to be working with you.
Yeah, I mean, it really was serendipitous. For years, I've been coaching people, and the biggest challenge always is accessibility, right? So you sit in a classroom and you teach a concept, or you do scripting and you do role play and all this stuff. And as I shared with you, I'm not a tech guy, right? Like I can muddle through technology, but I am not going to write code. Like that's just not going to be me. And so my limitation has always been the technology piece. And so I'm excited that we are able to combine, the skills and the coaching that I've developed over the years with the technology in such a unique way. And I've learned a lot from you, Patrick, through this process, because you are no unskilled salesperson. I don't know if is that a double negative?
I'll take it.
So, because you have a big background with sales too. So, learning your techniques and the way that you adapt those into the alignment with sales. And then the other thing I'd like to say is, I think when you and I met the first time, we just lined up really on our ethics of sales. Is that, sales is a consultative and an education process. We're not going to strong arm people into buying or selling. We really want to, we want to serve the customer. And I think that alignment really, you'll see that theme through what we're going to talk about today. Let's just say that way.
And I wasn't a technology guy either. And April and other people on our team, we have 70 people in 9 countries around the world. And we laugh about it because I'm not a technology person. I was very similar to you, Sean, in that I was just trying to build a relationship, get in front of the customer, have a conversation. And the tools were not built for that. And it became incredibly frustrating. And some of you know what we're talking about. When it comes to technology, there are all these dang platforms out there, and everybody is promising to hang the moon. If you use this, if you buy ClickFunnels, and I'm not knocking on any of these platforms, but they simply weren't built for the person in what we call peer-to-peer selling. I mean, they're out and about, they're talking to people, they're meeting, they're social. Even if they're not social, I mean, I'm kind of an introvert in reality, but I've learned to be social, because that's what you have to do. You got to market yourself and you have to talk to people. So this is the beginning. This is the Trio app launch, and we're going to give you a little bit of the backstory. And Sean is well-versed in all this. This is where we connected with each other immediately. And we do a lot of vetting on our side to make sure, because it's a real partnership. And the more we got to know Sean, the more excited we got, because not only does he have great influence in the space, but he's got the right approach. It's about the people. So the fundamentals in real estate, they haven't changed, have they, in a long time, Sean? I mean, they're probably not in reality going to change anytime in the near future.
Well, I'll say there is a small niche that's changed, where you have a consumer now that is looking for the iBuyers, and they're looking for the direct solution. So for those of us that are the relational type, that are building long-term businesses, that are, we're in this for the long haul, we have to get better. Like we have to get better because that competition is going to take probably, right now it's like 6% of the market is getting, direct to iBuyers. It's probably going to grow to 10, 15%. So that means if you did, let's say you did 10 transactions last year, you might be down to 8, right?
I don't want to slow the process here, but what's an iBuyer for me, if nobody else?
Yeah. So iBuyers are those companies like Open Door that, the seller just sells the home direct to Open Door, right?
Gotcha.
And so that removes the real estate agent from the equation.
Got it. Okay. All right. And you need to compete with that. And I imagine the iBuyer is also using a lot of that structure is using a lot of digital technology, right? They're using marketing, social, etc. And this is the place where the environment has shifted, right? Is that while the tools aren't being built for the agent to succeed, you still have to use digital tools today. You can't avoid it. You can't be walking around with your planner and no cell phone. Like somebody be like, what, you don't have it's silly, right? To even think in those terms. But then there's that next level. There's do you have a referral page? Do you have a digital business card? Do you have a landing or capture pages? Are you using email campaigns? Can you send your prospect a survey on the fly to do a little problem-aware discovery that makes you look incredibly professional? You get the answers back, and then you know what the drivers are for that buyer. You know what's important. And to have somebody like Sean who knows this vertical, it's one thing, it used to be that you would go to sales trainings, and there'd be a whole plethora of different people there. But anymore, you need a specialist in one area that knows that space. They know it inside and out. And again, we've got the best technology for organizations and businesses like yours, but we don't know the content. So we go find the best coach in the world. And that's essentially what we've done. So we're bridging this gap between the old school, the fundamentals that haven't changed, the relationship part, and this new environment, this new digital world. Now, just real quick on a couple slides is the digital marketer. This is not you, and you don't want to be this person, I don't think. The number of salespeople that we run into that they're trying to be digital marketers, Sean. I mean, literally, they're paying $300 a month for ClickFunnels. They're going through a class. They're trying to create a page, and maybe they're focused on one space of the real estate market, and it's single family homes, or it's commercial, or it's even more nuanced and niche than that. And so they want to have something that represents their brand, right? And so they go to ClickFunnels and they try to create this, or they go to SurveyMonkey and pay $100 surveys. They paid $5,000 to Ryan Levesque to learn how to write surveys. Well, are you a digital marketer, or are you in real estate? Like, what is it? And then they got to figure out how to make all these tools talk to each other.
Yeah.
So if I send you my digital business card and it's got a scheduling Calendly link on it, how do I get the Calendly to link up to my digital business card that then if somebody wants more info on a topic, I can drop them into a campaign? Like this all becomes even talking about it. I don't want to scare anybody. You don't have to deal with any of this, like none of it. But Sean, that's the problem, right? This what we call the one-to-many approach.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all been in this trap. I mean, I noticed my wife is on this. So, plug your ears, Heather, because, I don't want you to hear this, but we've all spent tens of thousands of dollars on these different systems trying to figure this out. And then what do we learn is that the system changes, the back end changes. Patrick and I were talking about Facebook ads, and I spent a lot of money on a course, and then within a year, Facebook changes the algorithm. And I call the coach and I'm like, hey, what do I do now? And she says, you got to pay me again. Right. And so what I realize is, I got to stay in my lane, right? Like put me in front of somebody, right? And I'm going to close them. That's the key. But if I'm
Right.
sitting on a computer trying to figure out how to target an audience and yeah.
And then it's compounded by the fact that Facebook is not free. Facebook takes the data of the relationship that you're building. You find out somebody has an interest in selling their home, and immediately on that person's Facebook page is popping up advertising for your competitor, a different rate, or one of those I things you were talking about, right? That's all happening, and they're spending big dollars for it. And you're the one that generated the interest in the person that they may not even been thinking at the time about selling, but they got to thinking about it for some reasons. You struck up the conversation and boom. So here's a different model. We partnered with Sean. All the content is built. We're going to show you examples of this. We're going to pull up the app, but I want you to understand, if somebody is not ready to buy a home right now, let's take that as an example. They're simply not ready. Are they the right person? Are they the wrong person, or is it just the wrong time? I think we can all agree they're probably going to sell their home at some point, right? Now, what if you built a relationship? What if Sean wrote the words for you? They come from you. They're very simple. They're very friendly. They're low key, and they're always sharing some information with that person that's a seller, but not right now. And 8 months down the road, 2 years down the road, they go, you know what? I think we should sell. We should move to the mountains. And they go, well, we'll call Sean. What do? They walk over to the desk, they type in Sean. There's 10 emails that Sean dropped them to check in with them every once in a while, sent them something interesting, and they go, I'm going to reach out to Sean because he's top of mind. Now, what if that could be Sherry, and that could be Andrew and Corey, because the emails are coming directly from you and they're all pre-built, but Sean wrote it for you.
I think there's a piece that you got to touch on first, though, which is the main point that you make from the beginning is you have to be different. You have to be interesting, right? And so where you and I, Patrick, lined up on this is through the educational process, right? If you're teaching them something, you become the authority to them. And so it's through a process of giving them information that they're going to need at the time that they need it, right?
That's right. That's right. And so what we're going to show you is we're going to pull up the app, and we're going to show you it's a mobile first strategy. So there's not only an app, but there is a dashboard you can go to. And we don't use the word CRM because there's a ton of CRMs, and what Sean is doing with the Trio app is he is going to help you prospect more effectively, generate more leads, qualified leads, and to follow up far more effectively. That's the focus. But then all the traditional tools you know about, surveys and capture pages, landing pages, digital business card, email campaigns, CRMs, all of that is automatically pre-built, and it's pre-built for you. So if you have a great capture page, Sean's written the verbiage and all of that, but it's got your picture, your phone number, your email address, all your social feeds, and the data only comes back to you and nobody else. Nobody will ever see your contacts' names, phone numbers, any of that. This is your personal platform with everything under one umbrella, and literally all you have to do is download the app. So we're going to show it to you and walk you through some of this, but you can see that there's a power here. I think as we go through it. Anything more there?
I'll just add, like, the name Trio. Like, we spent some time on this, right? We were like, what's the name? What's the name? What it really came back to is what do real estate agents need is, and I love what you said about the CRM, because people, it's a CRM it should be a contact reminder management system, not a relationship management. Your job is the relationship, right? No CRM is going to handle your relationship. That's your job. It should remind you to handle these relationships. And what I love about the way that you built this, Patrick, is it tells you, right? It says, hey, don't forget to update this note on this client, right? So it's your CRM, it's the messaging, what to say and when to say it, right? What should I say in this situation? And then the last is the coaching, which is those little pieces that we need when, maybe we're getting into an area of real estate that we're not comfortable with or we're not familiar with. How do I overcome that and be able to help and serve this customer? So that's where Trio comes from, is the CRM, the messaging, and the coaching.
I love that, Sean. And there's a great book out there. I'd encourage everybody to raise your hand or type in the chat if you read it before, but it's the #1 best-selling business book in the world. And it's by the Franklin Covey organization, and Chris McChesney and Sean Covey, Jim Hulig wrote it. But it says there are four disciplines in executing on anything that's wildly important to you, like any business, any endeavor, no matter what it is. And #1 is you better have a wildly important goal. And hopefully for everybody on this call, you're saying, look, there's something I want to accomplish. I'm not just going through the motions. I've got a vision for where I want to be this year, next year, 5 years from today, whether that's building an agency, succeeding at the next level, bringing on a couple people to help you execute. Some of you are already down those roads. Whatever it is, though, what's your wildly important goal? And then you want to identify the lead measure. Now, there's something I already know, and all my conversations with Sean and what you guys are trying to accomplish is one of your lead measures is how often do you have a new conversation? How often do you tell your business story, which is connecting with clients, right? Having new exposures that take place and then following up more effectively. And if you do that, whether it's your personal business or you're building an agency, the reality is that's who's going to win. And then the book goes on to say you should have a scorecard and to hold yourself accountable to the lead measure in the big vision. And then if you have a scorecard, then you can have a cadence of accountability. If you're building an organization, you can create a culture within that office that's built around a scorecard and the lead measure. And it's such a powerful book. And what you're going to see today is a platform that absolutely will help you execute on all four of these. It will let you know exactly when you go through a pattern where you go, man, I'm not making the same kind of money I was making 6 months ago. You will literally be able to go, what a quinky dink. I was talking to more people 6 months ago, right? I was getting through the numbers. Now, obviously there's a pipeline and a funnel and a process. But the lead measure is what we're talking about. And you were making this point a minute ago, Sean, that was, I see you even highlighted some of the language is we do not, Sean doesn't want you hiding behind technology. We want technology to drive the behavior and the relationship between you and the client. And all this one-to-many stuff is built for the Kardashians. Good for them. They got 25 people working for them. They're trying to be authentic, but I dare somebody to call them. Not that you would want to do that, but just in case you did, like you can't reach them because there's nothing authentic about it. There is no relationship. They don't want to talk to anybody. They just want to pretend they care, right? I'm being awfully harsh on the Kardashians, but that's not what we're trying to accomplish in the business. It's the relationship first.
That's right.
And now if we can use technology to drive it, that's the key, right, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, real estate is a relationship business. I mean, hands down. We all know that the highest profitability lead in real estate is a referral, right? And everybody's goal, I think everybody's goal is to have a business that's built that generates more business off of referrals and off of, I would say, community-based interaction, okay? And that includes marketing and your activities. That is the most profitable business that exists out there. If your business is dependent on, Google ads, Facebook ads, internet lead conversion, even Google keywords, that can be taken away tomorrow, right? And we've seen it happen, right? How many people had a Zillow account a few years ago and now, boom, it's gone, right? And so you need to have a business that's built on your relationship. And that's hard to do when you have, it's easy to do when you have 25 clients. When you have 700, it's hard. Oh, you're muted.
And how many people get forgotten in that equation, right? Of those 700, but they're all, what is it? Every 7 years, somebody on average moves.
Yeah.
You know, and they tend to forget who they talked to last. They often, I mean, look, I've bought and sold a lot of property, and I can honestly tell you, they say the number one law of collaboration is proximity.
Mm-hmm.
It's you fall into a habit where you reach out to the person you happen to be around or connected with the most. And so what we're going to talk about is how you can use technology to connect more often, to drive personal relationships, to drive your own habits, more authenticity, simplicity, right? Those are keys. And so what we're going to do at this point is we're going to pull up the app itself, which is really exciting. And you're going to see something that is super fast. And it gives you one place. It's the Trio app where you can keep all your contacts. You've got all the content you need at your fingertips to reach out to people with what they need when they need it. And so, and it looks fantastic, Sean, and you're going to walk us through some of this, but I want everybody to know that every button on the app is active. So if I click on contacts up here in the top left-hand corner, it's going to take me directly to all my contacts. Across the top, there's tasks or toggles. I can click on who are my hot prospects. And you might say, well, how do I know who my hot prospects are? Well, I know because they're engaging in content. They're watching a video. They filled out a survey. They watched more than 90% of the video. They opted into an email campaign, or they lost points because they opted out, right? And it might have been 6 months ago that I talked to them at the soccer field, watching the kids or the grandkids play soccer or something. And I bump in and have a conversation. And they go, oh, yeah, I'll drop you an email once you say, I'll drop you an email. I'll keep you informed, right? Or, hey, I'll send you a survey right now. You'll find it interesting. It's great for people that are considering selling, but they don't know if they should, right? I mean, there's so many ways, and this is just the beginning. Sean has worked really hard with April, the whole team, in creating content, but it's just the beginning. I can click on activity log, and chronologically, I can, whoops, sorry, I went too quick there. Chronologically, I can wake up in the morning and I can check my activity log, and I can see who the new prospects are that are clicking on information, which becomes really valuable when you got 100 or 300 or 700 people in the platform. I can click on task, and I can create tasks for myself very quickly and efficiently. I can push those tasks to my Google Calendar or my iPhone. I've got all my resources in one place. Now, Sean has created 87 different resources that are in the platform. We'll get to that in a minute, and I'm going to have him walk you through some of what those resources are. Statistics. I can see what my stats are. I can see how many prospects have engaged in the content that I've sent, how many resources have been opened, email opt-in rates. If I do a good job reaching out to people and sharing information, you should have an email opt-in rate that's north of 50 or 60%. If any of you know anything about email opt-in, 2 or 3%, they say is great. Well, that's not across all the companies and people we serve. Our averages are over 30%. And something like your business with Sean's content, I promise you, you'll be north of 50 or 60% on email. So, and then Sean's even going to create and have some fun with contests and incentives to help people through training and content and contests to do what we all know we should be doing on a regular basis, and that's making exposures. your coaching down here in the very bottom right-hand corner, that little graduation cap, which none of us ever truly graduate from education, but Sean is going to be creating content. And let's stop there for a minute and talk about some of the coaching content first and foremost, Sean, if we could.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously everything begins with kind of your individual goal, right? Why'd you get into real estate? What is it that you want to accomplish? That's always the root of all coaching, because once we get a hold of that, then it gets really easy into holding ourselves accountable, right? Do I really want to achieve what I set out to achieve? And is it truly important to me? So we walk you through that. We walk through you calculating from an aspect of your base income, right? Because I hear real estate agents all the time say, oh, I want to make, $100,000 or $200,000 a year. They just throw out a random number. And then they go out to do it. And even if you achieve, let's say you set a goal of 100,000 and you make 100,000, in a year in real estate. And then after all your splits and fees and marketing and everything, you end up taking home what? 55 grand. Well, you're not living a good life at 55 grand. So what we do through our profit model is we show you how to reverse engineer that. So you're actually taking home the money that you want to take home. And then we reverse that into the number of KPIs that you need to achieve each and every week. Okay. So that's what your goal is going to be within the app is to achieve those number of contacts every week. Right. And that can be through your sphere of influence, through your past clients, B2B, working through your community, for sale by owners, expireds, pre-foreclosures, all that stuff is already pre-written for you. All that scripting is already pre-done for you.
That's awesome. And it's like having a coach on your shoulder, in your ear. And we're not committing Sean to this just yet or asking him to commit, but I want you guys to visualize as we start growing this audience. This is the first call ever. There have been no other introductions. We haven't launched it anywhere else. I mean, we
didn't even rehearse this.
We did not rehearse this. Like this is it. This is the first one out there. But I want you to imagine Sean dropping you a push notification in the app once or twice a week for 5 minutes to say, hey, here's something from a mindset perspective to focus on this week. Yeah. Here is something from a how-to strategy perspective to focus on this week. And then telling you where to go in the coaching content to do a deeper dive if you're interested. And you get that 1 minute or that 3-minute clip about that piece of coaching information. So all right there in the platform. Okay. Now let's go to resources. Well, let me stop for a second and say that plus button where the person is in the bottom center of the app. That's how you add a contact. And it always shows up on every single page, because what should we always be doing? We should always be prospecting. We should always be having conversations, right? And look, I have been in the space a long time where I've been in businesses my entire life where I was in the kind of business that I needed to be a billboard in a sense. Like I need to let people know. And it wasn't my nature, right? I genuinely, like, you're like, oh, he's very gregarious. That put me on a book in a beach by myself, leave me alone. Like I am that person, but I happen to fall in a business and I'm a growth mindset person. Like figure it out. Don't make excuses, right? And so I had to talk to people all the time, but I didn't want to have long conversations. But if I can go out and I had a tool exactly like this, and I can bump into somebody and have a super quick conversation, go, hey, listen, let's stay in touch. I'll get you a little bit of information. I think you'll find it interesting. Matter of fact, I'll drop you an email right now. And I said, check your phone, because they all got their email right there, right? Our email delivery rate is 99.7%. And the email is pre-written for you, right? As an example. And I say, hey, well, let's stay. And I know they're not a buyer right now, but I know they might be. And at the point of discovery, when I have that conversation, I know what kind of buyer they might be. So the campaign or the content I send them is geared directly toward them. So it feels incredibly personal. Yeah. Is that, hopefully you guys are connecting the dot, but I can send content via social any social platform. I can send it via text. I can send this content in any way, shape, or form. And all I have to do is hit the plus button at the bottom center. I can tap import, and I can tap into my phone's database because I've already got them in there maybe, and I want to move over those notes and everything else. Or I can add a contact right there on this screen, okay? And we'll go through that exercise in just a minute. Maybe I handed them my phone and I said, hey, just give me your info, because that's what we do today. We're just like, hey, give me your info. Or maybe I just was at a social event, God forbid, where there's lots of people you gotta talk to. I'm kidding, right? But maybe you're at a social event and you just click on resources and you just click on QR code and you tell them to take a picture of your QR code. And right there pops up your digital business card on their phone. And it says, save Patrick's contact info. And it's got my name, my phone number, my email, up to 10 links that you guys can personalize on your own digital business card. It's got all your social tools right there, right? It's all built in. So next time you're at a social event, you don't have to pull up LinkedIn where the data is all owned by LinkedIn and you can only communicate on LinkedIn, which LinkedIn's a great tool. It's a professional tool. I used to love LinkedIn because it was such a good tool to communicate and connect with people. Now it's turned into bot central. Like there's so many, and then I respond to somebody because I think it's authentic and they don't respond for 3 weeks. You're like, that's cute, right? So anyway, so Sean, let's slow down here for a second. I add a contact. They're in my app.
Yep.
I want to send them something. I go to that contact. I click on that I accidentally clicked the 5-star button, which we now can adjust from this screen. So if I click on 4 stars and I want to adjust it, you see that person's score goes down. I can rate them as a prospect. You
can show them. You just lost a point. That's what you tell them.
Right. No. And so there's Weldon. Now I want to send him some information. So I click on send resources. Now walk us through some of it, Sean. You built so much incredible content. You got to walk people through what would I send to people, when and how, etc.
Yeah. So when we went back and forth about this, I mean, this was a week-long conversation on how to organize the app appropriately, because originally we were thinking, well, we should send it to them based on the type of home seller they are. So go ahead and click on home seller for me. So we originally thought about that, but that's not how real estate agents think, right? We don't think that way. We don't think, oh, this is a for sale by owner, an expired, or a neighborhood person, or a past client, or this is a friend or family member. We think of home sellers, home buyers, and past clients, SOI, right? That's the way we think about people. So I wanted to organize it the way that real estate agents think, right? So, let's say you're, this just happened to me the other day. I'm hanging out at the restaurant bar down the street. I run into a gentleman. He says, hey, I just moved here. I'm one of the investors of this restaurant. We kick up a conversation and he tells me that he's renting in the area, right? So he's a potential home buyer. So go ahead and click on home buyer for me, Patrick.
Sorry, home buyer.
Yeah, I switched my story. So
yeah, no worries. Home buyer.
Yeah. So now he starts telling me that he might be interested in investing in VRBO and that he doesn't currently own. So now he's a home buyer. So, and he said he's specifically interested in VRBO. So I'm going to go to investor and then I'm going to go to connect, right? And I'm going to click on connect and I'm going to send him a quick survey. So while I'm talking to him, I just simply said, hey, do you mind if I send you a quick survey? It kind of helps me better understand, what type of investor you are, right? And so I'm going to send him this invite directly from my phone while he's standing there. I'm going to send him that. And then also,
the 3 buttons pop up down below and I can email it. I can text it. Or if I'm used to communicating with them on social, I can send it on any social platform I want. So in this case, we'll just text it, Sean.
Yeah. And you know what I do, Patrick? Go ahead and scroll back really quick. This is really cool. This is a little trick I figured out if you can go back to that original, click click both of them. Click the invite and the survey at the same time. Because that way they get the survey. So I text them the invite and the survey at the same time.
Okay.
Is that
So
allowable, Patrick?
No, it's allowable, but let me give you a little insight. Something we learned is that Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, AT&T, your cell phone provider that you pay for service on, if they see a link in a text and you have not had prior communication, especially if you send that same link to 2 or 3 people within, say, a day or two, your service provider will block the link from being sent and they won't tell you.
Oh, okay.
So just pay attention to it. If you're not having a problem because of your patterns, you're okay.
Yeah.
But one solution is just send the pre-written text message, get the response, and then you're all good. They will let you send and they don't block anything at all. So just be aware. You can do that, Sean. Just be aware and pay attention. Check with the person. Did they get it? If you start to see a pattern that they don't get it, however you're using it, they don't like your pattern, and you can fix it just by sending one-offs. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
But let's go to where you were though. Let's go to that text, and it automatically autofilled the person's name, the contact. I didn't have to do any of that. Hi, Weldon. I'm doing some market research on real estate investors. If I sent you a 1-minute survey, would you check it out? Low key, easy approach. Now Sean comes back. Now pick up from there, Sean.
Yep. So then I just click on the 1-minute survey and text it right over to them.
And this is what's going to show up on their phone.
So how many times as a real estate agent do we run into, a potential for sale by owner, an expired, maybe somebody in the neighborhood who's looking to sell, or somebody looking to buy, and we would like to do a quick pre-qualification with them, but it's maybe not the perfect timing, or it's, maybe even we're just intimidated a little bit. This is what the survey does. The survey is a light pre-qualification. It's not going to ask difficult questions, but it's going to help them uncover, as Patrick taught me, is helping them uncover, what do you call it? I'm blanking on it.
A problem aware. Discovery, right? It gives me some insight, and Sean knows this stuff, like 7 ways to Sunday, and this stuff's only going to get better. You guys are here in the beginning. So you're going to be able to provide input and feedback and say, hey, can we adjust this? Can we do this? But he's designed this so you can get into the head of that buyer or seller, and you know how to approach them and what's important to them.
Yeah, a great example is there on that last question right there. I love that last question, where it says, are you interested in turnkey properties, new construction, short sales, foreclosures, vacant properties, or off-market properties? What investor, think about it. You're meeting with a real estate investor and they say, yeah, I'm interested in buying a home or investing in real estate. And they assume that they're shopping on Zillow and they're seeing all the inventory, right? And then we send them this and we say, are you interested in vacant properties, foreclosures, short sales, off-market properties? What? Where are those? Why don't I see those on Zillow?
Yeah, this guy's a professional. They know the business. Wow. Right?
Exactly. Now, for you, the training for that is in the coaching section. How to find those properties, how to evaluate fix and flips, how to evaluate buy and hold. All that training is in there. So you don't have to worry about having all the answers when you meet the investor, because all you have to do is gain their contact information, send them the survey, and then come back to your app when you have some free time, and then do your homework to investigate, a little bit deeper education on your end so you can serve that investor at a higher level.
Sean, one of the most difficult things about these presentations is to convey the amount of resources, content, and value, because we can't even begin to scratch the surface. It's not an overstatement to say there's literally tens of thousands of dollars worth of content. Here's the problem in the coaching world is coaches can just tell you what to do, but they can't help you in battle. Like it's like the warrior going into the Pantheon. Is that what they call it? The Pantheon?
I don't know.
And they're like, look, there's a few lions out there and there's going to be some spears. And here's what you should do. You go get them, okay? Or what if the coach said, hey, I'm going to go with you. Let's gear up. I'm going to go out. I'm going to be here right at your side the whole time. I'm going to get you the surveys, the content, the email, the copy, the boom, boom, boom. And I'm going to help you, right? That's a whole different level of coaching. That's next level kind of stuff. And so you've got tons of content. If you went to a digital marketer and said, hey, I need you to create a capture page for me. I need all my social feeds. I need all the data to come back to me. I want my picture on it, my phone number, my email. And I want to be able to post something on my social media that says, hey, looking to sell your home, right? And anybody that fills out that form, I need a push notification to come directly to my app and tell me they're pre-labeled, that they filled it out and that they're interested in selling their home, or they're interested in more, or they're interested in finding what their home's value is.
Yeah.
Right. Are you interested in what your home's value is? That might be a precursor to, do I want to sell my home? Right. Now, some of you are saying, wow, this is all content. I got some things I use right now that would be valuable. I'd love to have those at my fingertips too. What would I do? Well, you would toggle up top to personal resources. You would click on add a new resource. You would write a pre-written message. You would put the link in here. We would refactor the link so that link is trackable to the actual contact you send it to. So when you send it to them, you know if they click on that agreement, that form, that document, that third-party article, whatever it may be, and you can have that right at your fingertips.
Yeah, maybe you have your favorite lender's pre-qual site, right? Maybe you have your title company's rate sheet. And so you could load it in there, because these are things that we can't build on a national level or a worldwide level for that sake, right? So you put that in there, and now when you're working with a buyer, you say, hey, have you been pre-qualified? They say no. You go right into your resources, buyer loan application, and you say, hey, I just sent you the link to, my favorite lender's loan application.
Yeah, that's awesome. You can take any of the videos that might be in, you can move them into personal resources with your own pre-written message that would be different than what's in the platform. And you still know how many minutes of the video they watched and when they clicked on it, simply by going to contacts and going to activity and going to activity log and seeing what that personal individual's chronological order of activity is. Right? So, Sean,
we hadn't even shown them the videos.
I know it's so difficult, and we got to decide how long do you go with these calls, because we're all pressed for time. So here's what's going to happen. Not only do you get the platform and all the technology, not only do you have the content well organized so you can use it, not only do you have the coaching and the push notifications to educate you on what to use and when and how, but Shauna is launching a workshop that is going to take place every week. And there is a new training every single week. Now, you may not be able to make the live trainings. They're only 15 minutes, and it focuses on a very specific resource he's created, or feature of the technology or combo, how to use it to generate more leads, how to follow up more effectively, very targeted. Once a week, those get recorded, and they will show up in the coaching section of the platform, so you can learn how to use different features as we move forward, right? Because you're not going to figure all this out. We're taking this at a super high level. You guys already have a relationship. Sean, kind of his value prop. And I think you can wrap your mind around how this is just the beginning. So Sean, I'll tell people how to get started, what's involved here. We can talk about that for a few minutes, but anything else that you want to hit, at a high level here, that might be interesting to folks.
Well, the one thing that comes to mind, again, we've been using the app for about 2 weeks now, and, a small group of us. And one of the most impactful things for me is watching people use it and then coming to me and saying, look what I did. Look how I did it. And it blows my mind. I'm like, what?
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool.
You've been texting me some of those responses from people. He's got his small little circle here in Colorado that have been using it, and they're sending him messages about the leads they generate or the sale that happened. And this is 2 weeks in, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks. I mean, really, probably just about maybe 8 days, 7, 8 days. So I mean, it's kind of hard to say a week. I mean, I even had a past client. I sent him the referral form, and she sent me back emojis of hearts and flowers. When was the last time you asked somebody for referrals and they sent you back emojis of hearts and flowers? Like, it's just such a unique
Where's
way.
Where's the referral page?
Under any of those sections, there's a referral section. So referrals and feedback, because that's how important it is that we put it in there 3 times.
Well, yeah, it's under each, but when this is your referral page, right?
Right.
It's got your picture, it's got your phone number, it's got your email address. Go to a digital marketing agency and say, I just need a simple referral page. I just want you to create a simple page for me. I need my picture, my phone number, my email. I need my book me link. If I use Calendly, I want it to automatically show up on all the pages you create for me, as long as I add Calendly in the app. I need all this to happen. And anytime they fill that out, any referral fills it out, I need to be push notified, or I need to be notified somehow that I generated a lead, right? They're not even going to tell you they're not even going to send it to you in an app because they don't have an app, but you would get it there, right? You guys with me? What is that referral page worth to you? You got a happy client. They just bought their first home. The closing just happened. They're so excited. You brought them flowers or something, and now you send them a referral link with a little text message. Hey, could you do me a favor? I just lost my very best customer, right? I loved serving you. Do you know anybody who might be ABC? And then we design and personalize that referral page for that specific need of that customer. You guys, hey, give us some feedback, by the way. This is our first call, right? How did we do? What did we do well? You guys really need to, bring some more energy, or what was the, give us a little bit of feedback there. And then anything else. That was great, Sean. Anything else here?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I've been checking out a lot of different coaching people. I'll say people. I know Sean, we worked together many years ago, and he's spot on. If you ever have any doubts about a coach, you won't doubt Sean's coaching. Like I said, years ago, he was spot on, helped me, stay on top of things. And this is amazing. This whole app is absolutely amazing. This is what I've been looking for. And I have to tell you, I've been in the industry for probably, if I tell you, you're going to know how old I am. So anyway, I won't tell you how long. But no, this is amazing. I love the connectivity, if you will, of how this all fits in together with everything. And that's what I've been looking for. I don't know about anyone else, but I've been looking for something that's one place, do it all. I don't have 6, 7, 8 hours to sit on the computer. I'm not that kind of person. You talk about not techie, that's me. I don't want to do that. I can talk. Can you tell? I can talk. I love to talk to people. Don't ask me to be techie.
Jerry, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Both. I think this is awesome.
That's fantastic. Anybody else, and you're welcome to type in the chat window. We would love feedback. And one thing is, we appreciate that glowing referral, and you don't even know how much it is yet. So
That's right.
So let me just
scare the mail, Sherry.
Okay, it's there.
Let me scare everybody just a little bit first, okay? Because you should bracket it against what would you spend, right? If you wanted Sean's coaching, if you wanted him to create personal surveys and email campaigns for you, if you wanted technology that provided all these tools under one umbrella. And again, we haven't even shown you like you can label every prospect. Any prospect you put into a campaign that opts in and has a label, from your back office, you can email that entire group. So everybody who's a veteran, you come across a great third-party article, you send them all an email and it says, hey, Ron, as a veteran, I thought you would really appreciate, this article about real estate in Colorado as a veteran.
Mhm.
Now they're like, holy Toledo, Sean just sent this to me personally. Yeah, I sent it to you and 25 other people, but it is authentic because it's me to you. And if you respond, you're responding directly to my email,
Yep.
right? Even though the system allowed you to email. So what would you pay for Constant Contact? SurveyMonkey's $100. ClickFunnels is $300.
Contextually is $100, right? For contextually.
Yeah.
Mhm. And it contextually is one of the only ones that does a really good job at that in the real estate space. So, the multiple tags, which Trio allows you to do.
So, what do you spend on that? Now we've talked about different price points, and to be completely transparent here, the price point may change. We have not talked about grandfathering at all. Generally, that's what I suggest, Sean. So, if people get this price point, then you're locked in at that price point. But I think as the audience grows and the value grows, right, which is inevitable, this price point could change. But this is what, let me pull up I think everybody will be pleasantly surprised. So first of all, you can download the app for $1, 14-day trial, use it. Get out there and actually see what content's in there, make some exposures, use the platform. You can downgrade it anytime. After the 14 days, it's $79.95 a month. If you already know in those 14 days, that's pretty easy. Decide in advance. Remember that this is a one-time. On the yearly, you got to decide when you download the app. But remember, you got 2 weeks to decide, and you can change it from annual to 79. If for any reason you decide to go with the 79, that's always out there. The annual gets decided in advance. You would get 2 months free, but again, you're using it for 2 weeks. So you should have your feet solidly under you at that point. And obviously it's my personal opinion and I'm super biased, but Sean, I just think that's for what people are getting, that's a screaming offer. And I'm excited about the results that are going to come out of it and the workshops that are going to be launched. Anything on your end there, and I'll
Yeah,
share how they can get started.
You guys know me. I mean, I'd have given it away.
Yes.
He tried to a few times. And I'm like,
But
and
Patrick,
he literally called me a few days ago and said, man, maybe we could. I'm like, Sean, dude, are you kidding me? We may go up in price, but we're not. Like, you're like, the content that you're creating and the work that you put in, that they're getting one house.
Patrick, can
I
I
said
interject?
one house. How long does it pay, right? Sherry, right? Like, come on, man.
Let me interject something if you don't mind. I just told you, I've been checking with a lot of coaches. I've been checking out a lot of different people. And Sean, I'm telling you, like I told my daughter just yesterday, she has her own esthetician business downtown Denver. And I said, she's, Mom, I just raised my prices. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. I said, let me tell you something, sweetheart. You want to slit your own throat for not? Because let me tell you, you are A, in business, B, you're good at what you do, and C, whether you think you're overcharging, you're not. When I first got into business in real estate, excuse me, but the lady that was the trainer back then, the name has escaped my memory, but she gave us this rubber band, Sean, and I'm telling you, it was this thick. She said, put it on your wrist. So we did, like idiots. She now pull it as far as you can and let go. And I looked at her and I said, no way, it's going to hurt. She said, let it go. And man, I'm telling you what, I went, oh my God. She says, you will never forget your worth. Every time you question what you're charging, you will never forget your worth. So you wear that rubber band and you pull it every time you think, should I just lower my commission? So Sean, no, you know what? This price, you guys, take my word for it.
You might be hiring Sherry to do your sales. Your closing this time, but yeah. All right. Any other questions, guys? Any Q&A before I'm going to show you how to get started, what the steps are. You can go, matter of fact, I'll mention that real quick before questions. You can go to mytrioapp.com, right? mytrioapp.com, and we'll ask some simple questions. You can do that $1 14-day trial, iPhone or Android, download the app. When you log into the back office, it's the same username and password. Alex, good to see you out there as well. Same username and password there. So questions, any Q&A, and that'll wrap us up for today.
Nope.
No, I
Right.
think you guys have pretty well touched everything. I'm so appreciative of you both. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks for participating. Sherry is great. And it was great seeing a lot of familiar faces on here. So it's always good to see all of you. So I appreciate you.
Anita, Jason, Mike, any comments from you guys? Yeah, the previous, the cost, Andrew, that's $79.95 a month, or then $799 for the annual. You get 2 months free doing the annual. Any other questions? Any other comments? Okay. All right. Awesome.
Thanks,
Sean,
guys. I really
fantastic,
appreciate it.
man. It's awesome being with you, man. And we'll get the workshop and the dates launched. All those people that are taking advantage of the app, you'll be getting that information as we move forward.
Wonderful.
Thank you both for your time. It was fantastic.
Thank you. It was good seeing you all.
Bye now.
Good seeing you.